If there's other people that come in, just pass them over.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 2018 at CoreLife. Thank you for attending tonight. We are very excited about this event. Christine has put a lot into this, Dr. Chris. So I'm excited to actually share this opportunity with her. So here is Dr. Chris, and she'll tell you what we're going to do.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. I know it's freezing cold outside, so I appreciate you coming in here tonight. And again, thank you, Core, for having these awesome CoreLife lessons. It's a really awesome opportunity to educate the community. So I'm excited to be a part of it and talk to you all tonight about discovering your version of what optimal health is to you. So before I get into the topic tonight, I thought I would take just a minute and tell you a little bit about who I am. So as Dina said, my name is Dr. Chris Puglisi. I'm a chiropractor. My practice is in Vestal. So I'm somebody who, I grew up always having a passion for helping others, and that's kind of what led me to chiropractic school in the first place. This past spring, I expanded my reach on how I can help my patients and the community by becoming a certified health coach. As a chiropractor, I recognize that there's many upstream factors that affect our health. So things like our diet and exercise and nutrition and how we handle stress in our environment and our genetic makeup. And all those things make up our health or our lack of health. And what I started to realize in practice was that I wasn't reaching my patients on the level that I wanted to be with their overall health because of those upstream factors. They were getting in the way of getting to the root cause of what was going on in their care. But I knew if I could help my patients to hone in on nutrition and lifestyle choices, that a lot of illness could be translated into wellness. So it has been an absolutely rewarding thing to be able to expand my practice in that way and educate you all a little bit more on how to achieve your version of optimal health. So it's the new year, right? 2018, January 2nd. Who has goals for this year? Who wrote their goals down? Who's maybe here tonight to write some goals down? Good. So optimal health and really what it's about, and it's a balance of your health, really. So that whole concept of healthy mind, healthy body, healthy finances, and we're going to get into really what that means. But when I talk with people, what I've really learned over the past few years is we all want the same things in life. We all want to be happier, we all want to be healthier, we all want to be wealthier. But we typically tend to focus on the one that we need the most. So think about what that one that you focus on the most is. And when we happen to focus on the most, what happens is the other two factors tend to fall out of balance. We live crazy, hectic, busy, stressful, deadline-driven lives. We come to work Monday morning and kind of get thrown into this craze of the work week, right? And a lot of us tend to go on autopilot till Friday, and then Friday comes around and we put our feet up and we say, okay, it's time to chill out, right? And so what happens when we do that is we put our health on the back burner a lot of the times. And so I thought the perfect way to start this presentation would be to do an overall assessment of what your current reality is, where your version of optimal health is now, so it can bring up some things and see maybe what you want to improve in the future. So really quickly, just looking at this continuing here, obviously 10 being optimal, 2 being poor. Think about where you lie on each of those categories and just write that number, the quick number that comes to your mind, write it down on your wellness evaluation next to the category, and then we're just going to go through them. So the first one being healthy body. One thing that I really want you to notice is that healthy body isn't just your weight, right? It's a lot of different factors that go into being a healthy body, right? So again, write where you feel you currently lie on the continuum, but weight status, eating habits. Do you have good eating habits? Do you have bad eating habits? Do you eat 2 meals a day? Maybe you wake up and have coffee for breakfast. Do you snack? Do you eat because you're bored, because you're stressed out? A lot of those things that might come up just from food habits. Physical activity. What is your day-to-day activity? Do you work at a desk? What are you doing on the opposite side of that 8-hour time frame where you're sitting all day? Are you getting motion in your life? Are you going to the gym? Are you taking walks? Sleeping. What are your sleep habits? Are you waking up feeling rested? Are you waking up feeling groggy, stiff, achy? Are you getting good quality sleep for a long enough duration? Relaxation. More so stress management. How are we handling our stress? Are we doing it in a positive way or a negative way? Or do we just not even deal with our stress in the first place? And do we feel safe and healthy? Moving on to just kind of the healthy mind component. I know a lot of you already filled this out as you were sitting here waiting, but most relationships, are you happy with the way you have relationships with your friends and family members or your siblings? Your attitude at work. Do you enjoy your job? Do you like working every day? Do you feel, well, some people might like their jobs. So do you feel that you have meaning and purpose in your life? Or are you looking for meaning and purpose in your life? How about, are you giving yourself the time for spirituality, time to do community service if you're passionate about that, and even the time especially for hobbies and things that you enjoy doing that are fun to you? Are you incorporating those into your life, or are you just living by work? The next category, healthy finances. Some people might think, why is this up here on optimal health? But think about a time in your life that maybe finances were tight. And how did you behave? Probably stressed, a little freaked out, angry, right? Imagine how that affects our mental health of what we were just talking about on the slide before that. So again, the balance between all of those, and it's what we're really looking for. So again, fill out, this section as well. And then what I want you to do is add up those scores and place yourself on this continuum. So where did you line up? And then see if it matches that initial number on the continuum where you guessed where you thought you were. And I'll take a minute just to do that. This is an exercise that I really like to do with people because it brings up where our current reality is. It brings up things that maybe we didn't realize was going on in our life, or maybe we didn't want to accept was happening in our lives, or just some things that we realized is that we needed to focus more on in the first place. And why I do that is because if we feel certain ways about things, if this maybe brings up feelings of stress or anxiety or things that maybe we didn't want to think about, then maybe we should kind of change the way that we're thinking about it. Change our mindset and take those feelings of what's coming up and create goals out of them, right? So change them. We all have the ability to change our lives and our future. So I thought that after we've kind of brought this up to the front, we should take a few minutes to talk about goals. It's January 2nd, 2018. So I know some of you raised your hands when you said you had written down some goals, but now's a perfect time to make some goals from that. 80% of Americans give up on their New Year's resolutions by January 15th. 2 weeks, right? So it's 52 weeks in the year. So I thought that, one thing where I feel like part of it's not really our fault, but I think it's because we're not getting really, really clear on what we want. We can't just have a resolution that's like, I want to be healthier. We have to get really, really clear on what we want and very specific. So we're going to go over some goal setting, and then we're going to do some goals. So first few things with goal setting, you want to make goals that motivate you. Like, what is your why behind changing your life and your health, if it's related to those things? You want to create SMART goals, things that are specific and measurable, attainable and realistic, things that are relevant and have a time associated with it. We're going to get into writing them down because I think there's something that's really powerful when you take pen to paper. It makes a goal true, I think, when you actually write it down instead of it living in your head. We're going to make an action plan to get there. You know, it's the same type of thing. When you set a goal, it can't just sit on a piece of paper. You have to have a track for it to run on, right? And again, that last thing with goal setting is sticking with it, creating accountability, you know, finding groups of people and community that share the same goals as you and the same values and want to, you know, grow with you. So when thinking about that second sheet where you have a few different sections to write your goals, if you have things in mind, start writing them down. If you are sitting there and can't figure out what you feel, you know, comes to mind in terms of your goals, I have some questions up here that really kind of help you to think. So that first one being, what would your future self thank you for? Is that, you know, reclaiming your health, getting off medications, losing weight, being more active, maybe running a 5K, or anything that's really related to what you want out of your life? What are you looking for? Are you looking for structure and guidance or support? Are you looking for something specific? What do you want to improve in your life? Your outlook on life? Your mindset? Healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finance, any of those? The last thing that I love to talk about with people is, why do you want it? Why is it important? Is it because you want to be a better role model for your kids? You want to have a better relationship with your spouse? Maybe you want to grow old and watch your grandkids grow up, or play on the ground with them, or be able to see your kids get married and, you know, and start families of their own. So whatever drives you is really important when you're writing your goals, because that's what's going to continue to last for you through achieving these goals. So now that we have some really good, clear goals in mind of what we want to achieve, being able to create some new healthy habits into your lifestyle will only help to propel you to reaching that level of optimal health. One thing, I'm going to kind of break down each of these and give you all little kind of challenges to incorporate into your life every day for each of them. But one thing I really want you to think about is your health on every single day is just a sum of choices, right? So every day we make a choice, and it's either a good choice or a bad choice. And those choices become our habits over time, right? And we create good habits and bad habits because we are habits of creature, right? We are a creature of habits. So just really, you know, we first make our habits, then our habits make us. How true is that? So the first habit that I want to talk about is healthy eating. I'm going to get into a few different parts with that, but the first thing that I want to talk about is just really being mindful. Being mindful of what you are putting into your body on a daily basis and why you are. So are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because you're stressed out, or angry, or frustrated, or bored? So really just having that additional awareness of, am I fueling my body right now, or am I just filling a void? So some other healthy tips for eating, or some other tips for eating healthier, you know, things like avoiding sugar, avoiding bad fats, trans fats, adding more good fats into our diet, things like avocados, olive oil, salmon, nuts, walnuts, omega-3s. Just like how we teach kids to plate our foods with a lot of colors, right? Add more fruits and veggies into your diet. You know, if grains, whole grains are okay for your GI tract, obviously that's good, as well as fiber. Really focusing on adding any type of anti-inflammatory spices and herbs are also great too. And lastly is just, you know, eating smaller portion-sized meals throughout your day. If you're somebody who, when we went through on the eating habits section, if you're somebody that eats maybe 2 times a meal, 2 times a day, what you're doing to your system is just bogging down your GI tract. You know, if you eat small portion-sized meals throughout the day, you're stabilizing your blood sugar, you're revving your metabolism, you're allowing easier processes for digestion for your body throughout the day. So before I get into, and the challenge of this one is to limit inflammatory foods, before I get into some inflammatory foods, I'm just going to take a step back and explain what inflammation is on a really basic level. So inflammation is an influx of fluids into an area, right? And it usually is in a response to an injury. So white blood cells, healer cells, they're all going to come into an area and clean up the debris, right, in the cellular basis. What happens in our lives, for most of us in the American diet, we put a lot more inflammation into our body in the form of food that's inflammatory for us. So our body gets bogged down with inflammation, and it will start to kind of creep into our joints and hang out there. So our joints will start to deteriorate, things like arthritis, pain, stiffness, how you feel because of the inflammation in your body, and it also has a detrimental effect on our organs. So when we think over time chronic low-grade inflammation, what it's doing to our systems and to our body in general. And just a few pointers that I want to just pinpoint is, disease and inflammation is the marker for all diseases. So when we think about what was the stem and what was the starting point of cancer, Alzheimer's disease, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, GI diseases, high blood pressure, Parkinson's, the list goes on, it stems from inflammation in our system. So if there's something that you take away from this, it's really being aware of what you're putting into your body and if it's inflammatory. Because if we can reduce the inflammation that is in our bodies by the foods that we're putting in, we're not only going to feel better on a day-to-day basis, but we're going to limit our risks for developing those diseases in the future. So that's just kind of a little overview of inflammation and just some inflammatory foods in general to start avoiding or just being aware that it's causing an inflammatory reaction in your body. Sugar, obviously, so things like sodas, baked goods, candy, vegetable oil, fried foods, refined flour, things like white bread, pastas, crackers, cereals, artificial sweeteners and trans fats, excessive alcohol, processed meats, even regular meats on a high percentages can be inflammatory for you. So really just thinking about, again, that concept of, am I fueling my body or am I eating something that's going to hinder my health? And when we think about anti-inflammatory, what better place than to come eat food than CoreLife Eatery? Just want to plug you guys. So the second habit of health that I have is drinking water. Who drinks at least 64 ounces of water a day? Like 5. Okay, the numbers keep coming up. Okay, so how about like 2 glasses of water? Maybe? Okay. All right, so at least at a minimum, you should be drinking 64 ounces of water a day. And I always tell people, take your body weight and divide it in 2 and aim for that number in ounces. So whatever 64 to whatever that number is a really good range to be in. Obviously, if you're exercising, you should be drinking more water. If you live at higher altitudes, you should be drinking more water. So this is 6 tips as to why, or reasons as to why you should be incorporating more water. There are like multiple more. But it's calorie free, obviously. So we think about the fluids that we're putting in our body. If it's not water, it's mostly soda, really sweet coffees, sugar like juices, lemonades, things like that are going to obviously be inflammatory with the sugar, depending on what's in it. Water prevents dehydration. You think about just in terms of what diseases stem from dehydration. We just talked about inflammation. Dehydration has a slew of them as well. It removes toxins. It acts as a solvent and removes, harmful chemicals to our bodies. It revs our metabolism, and then it also helps to minimize and eliminate fatigue, low energy levels, headaches. So you think about just this one right here. How many of us have low energy every day? Now, how many of those people don't drink at least 64 ounces of water a day? Right. So really just another quick thing that I wanted to pinpoint with overeating is that studies show that 30% of the time that when we think we're hungry, our body's signaling for water. So the next time that you think you're hungry, take a step back and say, how much water have I drank today? So moving on, and my challenge for this one is to start your day with a glass of water. Before you reach for the coffee pot, before you do anything else, wake up, drink a glass of water. My next habit of health is motion. Get moving in your day. And my challenge with that is taking a walk at lunch break. I know it's freezing outside, so maybe you have buildings that you can, loop them inside, or buddy up with a partner and just put your jacket on and go out for 10 minutes and get some vitamin D. But why should we up our activity levels? It's going to make us feel better, right? We're going to feel happier. It's going to increase your energy levels. It's going to decrease your risk for chronic diseases. Obviously really great for sustaining and maintaining weight and weight loss as well. Helps with relaxation and quality of sleep. And another really important one is it helps reduce chronic pain. So I think a lot of people with chronic pain think that they need to immobilize themselves and not really move much because they're in pain. But when you're not moving and you're in chronic pain, you're only making your issue worse. When we think about just the concept of motion and what it's doing to joints and lubricating joints, it's bringing every type of circulatory effects and healing effects into those joints. So obviously, I wouldn't recommend somebody that has chronic pain to do high-level activities like CrossFit or weightlifting or anything like that. But depending on what's going on, things like yoga or things like swimming or even like aerobics classes in water would be really good for maybe the non-weight bearing. Ways to get moving, obviously exercise, whatever that form may be for you, in a gym and classes and yoga classes, or maybe you like to work out at home, or you like to go outside and use nature, take a walk, go for a hike, do some housework. It doesn't need to be exercise in the gym. Obviously that's good for cardiovascular health as well as other things, but if you're currently at the point where you can't get there, get motion elsewhere, Park a further away distance from your job or in a parking lot than the entrance to the grocery store. Get outside, do whatever you need to kind of buddy up with a partner to get more activity in your life. Count your steps. Everybody has a Fitbit or like a little app on their phone that tells them how many steps they're walking. And just another point with that is, failure to plan is planning to fail. So if you're not, set your gym bag the night before or pack your bags before you're going to wake up in the morning. Limit the excuses that you can make for yourself ahead of time. The next habit of health that I want to talk about is just proper sleep. How many of us sleep 7 hours a night, at least? That's a pretty good number. 5 hours? Okay. Under 5? Okay. Terry. All right, so the challenge with that is to keep a consistent sleep schedule and really trying to hit that sweet spot of 7 to 8 hours a night. Obviously, it's going to boost immunity. It's going to curb inflammation. You're going to be feeling rested and more alert and cognitive throughout your day, which is important for everybody that's on the roads with you or at work. It's going to lower your stress levels as well as help you maintain a healthy weight and really just help to create healing in your life. You think about the amount of time that your body has to heal when you're sleeping, right? So if you're not getting restful sleep, how is your body really able to fully heal itself? So just some other key points as well here. People that are chronically sleep deprived have a higher risk for diabetes and high blood pressure, as well as dying at a younger age. So really, really protecting that sleep time is really important. And for those that have a hard time falling asleep at night, I gave you some tips along the way here. So limiting your caffeine after noon in your day, decreasing stimulation. So, phone usage, iPads, laptops, TVs in the bedroom. You think about just the light exposure and how that's still stimulating your nervous system, even if you're asleep, so you're not getting to that deeper level of sleep. So turn off the TVs or put them somewhere else. If you need that sound, play something on your phone, play relaxation music or meditation music. Don't take naps during the day. Eliminate that cell phone use and really avoid exercise 2 hours before bed. You think obviously exercise is good for us, but it's going to kind of wake us up. The hormones and endorphins that are released when we're working out is going to kind of get us up and moving. And really make your bedroom a quiet and relaxing space. If you have a hard time falling asleep, use diffuse essential oils. Drink sleepy time tea. Really just kind of work to take that time before you go to sleep to just kind of calm down a little bit. And so really the question you should be asking yourself is, what is the quality and the quantity of your sleep? So the next habit of health I'm going to talk about is stress reduction. And my challenge for this is to express gratitude every single day. So I think that it's something that's really, really easy for us to kind of fall into that schedule of craze and busyness and get stressed out. But how easy is it to just take a second and think about something that you're grateful for? So you can jot that down in the morning. It can be the first thing that you think of when you wake up in the morning, or maybe at the end of the day, or you can even like put something that you're thankful for in a little basket every day of the month, and then read them at the end of the month and see what you're really thankful for, and have that be kind of the vision for your day if you're starting it at the beginning of your day. So some other healthy tips that you can do to kind of incorporate in to reduce some stress is focusing on your breath. For those of you that meditate, for those of you that practice yoga, you get that that is the main focus and why it's the main focus. I'm going to go over what I call the box technique. I don't know if it's actually called that, but it works really well for me when I'm stressed or if I'm noticing I'm getting a little anxious, and I don't need a yoga mat or a meditation music to be able to do it. I just need to be able to count to the number 4. So we're all going to do this together. So we're going to take 4, we're going to count to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we're doing all of these, we're going to inhale 4, we're going to hold 4, we're going to exhale 4, and we're going to hold. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you're bad.
Okay. Okay, so some other techniques to reduce stress. Obviously exercise of any sort, meditation, yoga, let it go. You know, if you need to sing the song from Frozen, that works too. But really just realizing that life is short, right? So let go of the baggage or the stress or the chaos of what's going on and just live your life. I like to get out in nature. I like to take hikes and walk and just kind of unplug and detach from what's going on. You can read a book that you like, enjoy a hobby that you enjoy doing. Again, diffuse essential oils if it's something that is relaxing to you. One thing that I want to know about stress is amazing to see in my practice how many people are coming to me and most of their symptoms are from their stress and how they're internalizing their stress. So obviously tight shoulders, you know, pain, stiffness, achiness, heart rate up and everything like that is going to affect our physical body, but realize that it's also affecting our mental body, and it's affecting on a negative level our thoughts, our actions, and our behaviors. So thinking about too how we handle our stress, how we manage it. Are we projecting our stress out on our friends, on our family, on our spouse, and how that's kind of creating maybe a negative environment. So really being more aware of how we're handling our stress, and are we acting or are we reacting to stress? And the last habit of health I have is a positive, supportive environment. So my challenge for the new year is to eliminate negativity in your lives for 2018. Thinking about when you're making a change in your health or you're wanting to create just new habits, when you surround yourself with positive people that share the same morals as you and the same values, not only does it give you a better environment to thrive in, but allows for more peace in your life, right? So just leave the negativity in 2017. It's in the past, right? So I love the quote, "You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with." So if you want to be inspired, hang out with people that you enjoy. If you're hanging out with people that might enable bad behaviors, maybe they probably shouldn't be a part of your life anymore. So really just start to think about that from that standpoint and what you want for your life and how you can get moving into a better path. So the last thing that I want to talk about with you all is just this concept. I was introduced to this concept, and it's something that has, rerouted days for me, put me on a different trajectory in life, and I just thought that it'd be a really good thing to share with you all. I think about this every single day, knowing that I can never get to the best version of myself unless I'm always pushing myself further. So we have this line in life, right? It's right through here. And we can choose to live above that line, and we can take responsibility for our actions and our health and what's currently going on with us. We can accept what life has thrown at us, seek clarity, and maybe further pursue more personal growth aspects, continue learning. Or we can live below that line, and we can make excuses for what's going on in our life and our health. We can place blame on ourselves or other people and other things. We can act like we're the victim in the situation. And so every single day we are faced with a situation to either live above or below the line in life, right? So our actions, our mindset, our decisions, everything is based around our choices. So my suggestion to you is to try to live above the line every single day. So that is all I have for you tonight. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and Core, thank you for having me. Any questions? Questions? Yeah. No questions? Well, thank you. Thanks all for coming.
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pumped for 2018. Are you guys? All right. So thank you, Dr. Chris. Honestly, I think everything that she had to say makes sense to me. So I hope you guys take this and move forward and come back for more CoreLife lessons. Thank you.